Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Another baseball podcast edition. Um, Me and Nick today are going to break down the NL East.
Yup.
NL East.
Yeah.
First off, before we get started, I want to say thank you guys for all the support we've gotten on YouTube, Facebook, even joining our Discord. We got like 40 people in the Discord now. So that's pretty
Yep.
dope. It's fun to talk to you
Growing
guys.
that community.
Yeah.
Keep growing. Everybody keep joining. We got lots of nice content out there on
Yes.
there.
So, if you guys are enjoying these videos, subscribe to the YouTube, like the Facebook page, join the Discord, talk to us, tell us we're wrong about things, give us your opinions. We love it. Love it. But with that being said, let's break down the NL East. I figured we'll start with what we think, even though they were a playoff team last year in a shortened season, we think these guys are going to be at the bottom of the barrel this year with the Miami Marlins.
Yeah. I don't see that they got a good team. I just don't see them being able to pull out a full 162 season. I just think over that long stretch of a season, they'll just fall short. I think they benefited a lot from that short season last year, and they got a lot of good pieces, but I think they still need to build a little bit more depth and whatnot there.
Yeah, I 100% agree. They did make a big time trade because they were close. I think they were trying to spark something there with a young team, get them experience. They traded with the Diamondbacks to get Sterling Marte. They traded some good pieces too. What's that? Caleb Smith? Is that his name? The pitcher.
Yeah, he was
Um,
he was solid last year. That was honestly kind of a piece. I'm a little surprised they did trade
yeah,
because a lot of these teams that are making the playoffs now have such dominant rotations that that just to find a guy that was that solid. I not just yeah, I was just surprised they traded him. I would have thought because I don't think the dude's that old either. Like I
no,
think mid to late 20s or somewhere around 25 to 27 age, somewhere
yeah,
right around there. But yeah, with the way these teams that are making playoff runs have such dominant rotations, I would have thought that would have been a piece they would have kept around to kind of build around.
yeah. I agree. Especially when you're trading for a guy. Now, I'll admit, you know this. I have an infatuation with Sterling Marte. I think he's a great ball
Yeah,
player. The
yeah, he
unfortunate
is.
issue is, I mean, the guy pulls like 3 hamstrings a year,
He's so
so
fast.
he is so fast. um, I just don't know if it's worth it in the long haul. I mean, we'll find out. They've got a fucking loaded farm system now that they're starting to bring up. You're starting to see some of that talent. Obviously, they
Yeah,
have Brian Anderson, who is their right now their face of the franchise.
yeah, that guy, yeah, definitely broke out in the last two seasons. I know we've talked about it before in the last podcast. That last year, I dipped out a little bit from baseball. It was just a lot of different factors going on. But in 2019, I know that dude. When we played fantasy baseball, I picked him up the one week off the waiver wires, and I was like, "Who is this dude?" He was kind of lighting it up, and he had a solid rest of the season. I was like, "That's definitely a good piece too for them to build around."
Yeah,
He's a nice player.
for sure. Um, I correct me if I'm wrong. I think they signed this guy this year, Adam Duvall. Did they sign him this year, or did they get him last year?
I don't know for sure. That's a guy that I haven't really paid attention to, like since he was on the
Me
Reds.
either.
So
And I noticed him on the roster this year, and I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I saw him on the roster, I was like, wow, okay. I don't know if he was there last year, but he was a solid ball
it's,
player. I just didn't know they had.
yeah, some good veteran presence because that team is young too.
Yeah,
It's a young
yeah,
team. That's what I think. Honestly, I think Marte would also bring some of that
yeah,
veteran presence. Just kind of help this young ball club.
yeah. They got that too. They got Corey Dickerson in the outfield, so they've got like their
Solid.
outfield is just stacked with veterans. Um, they got Jesus Aguilar, who we know very well from he was in the Indians farm system, and we
Yeah,
thought he
that
was going
would.
to be a stud. And he took a while to blossom, but he's turned himself into a solid ball player.
He really has. That was a guy that I was hoping because at the time we didn't really have anybody at first base or a power bat, and that's what he was billed as. Coming up through the Indians farm system, and
Yeah,
yeah, it just there wasn't really a spot for him. But it is nice to see. It's cool to see those former Indians farm hands kind of like blossom on other teams because like I remember watching this guy back, when he was still learning and all this.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I mean, they got an exciting team. Like I said, they made the playoffs last year as a wild card. There's an extra wild card team plus a shortened season. I just don't see it this year, especially with this freaking division that they're in, man.
no, this
Yeah,
this division like when we talked about last week's division, the Padres and the Dodgers are stacked, but that's about all you have in that division. This one, it's all five teams are solid.
All
Even
five
though
teams
we're
are
saying
solid.
the Marlins are going to be bottom of the barrel in this division, but it's like that's not really a knock against them as so much as this division is just going to be a tough division.
Yeah. Um, I agree. You want to? Who do you think? Who do you think's going to come in fourth here?
All right, so like I said, I think we might be on the same page here, but I have the Phillies as number four.
I agree.
I,
I
I
agree.
like and again I like the Phillies a lot too, and that they got a nice rotation for sure. Their lineup is good. I know what was who's I just lost the name. Was it Reese Hoskins had kind of a down year? He would
Hoskins.
be
Yeah.
a guy I would expect to kind of bounce back. Um, and they just Didi Gregorius, good. That's a good pickup for them. I never liked him when he was a Yankee, but just because of that, he was still a good ball player though.
Yeah.
That's a solid pickup for him, which is interesting too because wasn't Gene Segura their shortstop?
Yeah.
Or was he just okay? So now with Didi Gregorius, you think they just slide Segura over to second then?
So I'm not sure where Segura played. Um, I know he's played some third, so I'm not sure where they're gonna put him because they've got Julio Franco or no he what's his fucking name? I hate
Like
that. I hate
Julio
that guy.
Franco,
He's
you're
not
going
even.
back
Yeah,
like
I'm
30
going
years.
back deep, dude.
They've
Honestly,
really
that's
reached
such a
something.
disgrace to Julio Franco for me to even put him with that bum. But that guy, he went to the Royals, so I'm not sure where they're gonna do. I'm pretty sure Segura played some third base last year because of that. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm trying to think who else. That Alec Boehm, I think that's his name. I think he played
Yeah,
third too.
he had a solid season last year.
Yeah,
Again, I think all this is within the context of a shortened season, so
shortened
we'll
season.
see
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes for a full season. But he had some good numbers last year in a shortened season.
So, and then you got the ageless wonder Andrew McCutcheon. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I love that dude. Um, obviously they re-signed JT Realmuto. That was a
that
must. That was
that
a
was a
must.
solid re-signing. Yeah, it's tough to let go one of the best catchers, best hitting catchers in the league like that.
Yeah, not only
It's
the
when
best
you
hitting catchers, dude, one of the best base running catchers in the league.
yeah
I mean,
yeah when you have a position like that that far out excels other teams. That's definitely a piece. I was like, that's good that they resigned. That's
yeah,
definitely a bonus.
for sure. Harper, I think we're both on the same page with Harper. Overpaid.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
love his passion, but he just hasn't had it since that MVP year, man.
No, and honestly, something I know I've knocked him on a lot is the injuries. That was the only season I think he was healthy all season, and it goes to show what he can do in a fully healthy season.
Yeah,
He can put up MVP type numbers, but this dude, he doesn't stay healthy, and yeah, just because of that, I think he's definitely overpaid. Solid ball player, but
yeah. Um, obviously, we need to talk about probably both of our favorite player on the Phillies, Aaron Nola. The dude is a fucking stud.
yep,
Um,
this dude comes out of nowhere, and just like a dominant pitcher for him, and it's like this. That's definitely an ace you want to build a rotation around, and they definitely have been doing that to try and stack their rotation somewhat for them.
yeah,
I know they ain't really deep once you kind of get past their first three guys, but still Nola, and then they went and signed Zach Wheeler. What was it? Prior to or no, I think that was actually 2 years ago now, right?
yeah,
They got him in 2019, and that's a solid signing. Wheeler's always been a solid pitcher, and then Zach Eflin, he was coming out to be pretty solid too. So
yep,
your top three right there. That's a solid start to a rotation for sure.
yep. And then they got Vincent. What? How do you pronounce it? Velasquez.
Yeah,
Velasquez. He had that one year where it was like, oh, this guy's gonna have it, and he hasn't found it since then. But I mean, he's
no,
shown some promise. There's definitely some stuff to build on. Him and Effin are solidly young. I believe they're still pretty young.
yeah,
Um, but Nola, I mean, it starts and ends with Nola. I mean, he's bona
yeah,
fide
pretty,
ace on any club he goes to. Um,
yep,
so yeah, but I agree. I think the Phillies are gonna. I think they're gonna come in fourth. Um,
yeah. And again, not a knock against them. It's just this division it's a stacked division.
yeah. Um, So, who do you think is coming in third?
Dude, so it's really tough, and even right now, I'm still kind of making up my mind because I honestly think the last three teams in this division can snag obviously the top spot, and then they're still doing the extra wild card spot this year, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think honestly, whoever doesn't come in first here, both these next two teams can snag the wild card spots. I put the Nationals as my third place team here. And it was tough because they are only 2 years removed from the World Series win, but they have lost some pieces, namely Anthony Rendon. The
Yep.
dude was a monster, one
Yep.
of my favorite players. But I think yeah, I think they'll end up being in third. Now, what can really change that, I think, is that three-headed monster they got, dude. Scherzer, Corbin, and Strasburg.
Yep.
I'm sorry, when those guys are all three of them are lighting it up, you're not. It's tough. It's gonna be tough to find a better 1 through 3 in that starting rotation. Those three are just they're nasty.
I agree. I fully agree. And that three-headed monster, along with the additions they made to the lineup this year, which we'll get into, um, I think this is an 85 win plus team, and I think they're a wild card team. I agree with you. I think three teams from this division are getting in the playoffs. To me, this is the best
Yeah,
division in baseball. It's rivaling what the AL Central had a few years ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, this division is it's ridiculous. So coming in third
it
is
really
it's
is.
tough to say. I honestly think in any other division they're number one or number two, besides maybe the
Honestly,
Dodgers and the Padres. But
yeah, like you were just saying, dude. Like, what was the season the Indians won 94 games? It was 2 years ago. The Indians won 93 or 94 games, and we lost out on the playoffs.
yeah,
That is something I could see happening here. Where
yeah,
yeah, the Nationals maybe clear 85 something wins, maybe even get up into the 90s. And yeah, if depending on how it goes, it's I think they'll either snag the two wildcard spots or they'll just be one really good ass team just left out.
yeah. And I mean, I'll take it a step further. Going back to the Phillies, I could see the Phillies winning 82 games, being above 500. I mean, I could see four teams from this division being above 500. That's fucking
Yeah,
insane to think about.
yeah,
But that's literally how good this division is.
it is.
Obviously, you said Scherzer, Strasburg. I hope he can be healthy again because you saw when they
Yeah,
won that World Series, that man changes that team.
yeah,
Um,
he does. He's just a monster.
I even
And then,
I no, go ahead, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna change what I was gonna say. Even I'm not a fan of John Lester, but I think picking him up for the end of their rotation is gonna help a lot too because he's not expected to be that ace, and he doesn't really have the stuff like he used to have where he's ace material. But I think following those three, that's gonna I think help a lot and make him almost like who was it that Gio Gonzalez that they had is
Yeah,
like their 4 or 5 or whatever, and he like had those solid seasons where it's like he's not lighting up, but damn to have that kind of pitcher as your 4 or 5, that's solid.
he is the perfect number four for this team. I think that was
Hmm.
I think that was one of the most underrated signings of this year, and I think me and you share the same sentiment. I don't like John Lester. I would take him as 4 or 5, but for this team, if I was a national team, I would be loving this signing. This
Yeah,
man will eat up innings.
yes, that's for
Like
sure.
I'm pretty sure I saw a stat where it was like he's one of the only pitchers for 7 or 8 years consecutively to pitch over 200 innings. The man just eats innings. It doesn't matter how old he is. He's a
No,
veteran pitcher. He lives on the corners. He's not going to get destroyed. He,
mhm.
he still can't pick off at first base. But
Nope.
he is literally, I think, the perfect guy for to make this kind of like a sneaky four-headed monster. Not where he's going to blow you away, but it's like, damn, if you're in a playoff series, you're facing a veteran who's coming in there. I mean, we saw it in the Indians game 7 when he was with the Cubs. He came in and gave 3 relief innings in game
Yep.
7. That was just, I
Yeah.
honestly think that's how they won the game. Is he held that game down and it sucked.
Yeah.
But
It did.
um, another guy I know me and you have fucking loved forever, Patrick Corbin. The dude
Yeah.
doesn't get enough credit. The dude's
No.
he's got two different sliders. He's got a slider that can hit around 90, and then he's got the slider that hits around like 78, 80. It's
Yeah.
nasty. One's like a slurve and one hooks in, and it's you don't really see that anymore.
No, it is nasty. That dude, yeah, I know. We've been fans of him since back when he was in Arizona, and
Yeah,
when they picked him up, it was like This rotation is gonna be even nastier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he's good.
So obviously this team is gonna live with their pitching, but their fucking lineup is nothing to scratch at anymore. Obviously they went out, they got Kyle Schwarber, which is I
Solid
think is a
addition.
very solid addition to the team,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
they went out and got Josh Bell. I think also that dude. I think it was like 2 years ago where he really put it together, and it was like, all right, this is a Josh Bell that we thought we were hearing about when he was a prospect with the Pirates.
That's what I think. His numbers were, excuse me, so last year, but again, shortened season. I think too. He's because what did they have playing first base before Ryan Zimmerman,
Yeah,
who he was solid, but he kind of like he got old, but then he got bad real fast too. And I think Josh Bell is going to be a hell of an upgrade
yeah.
over that for sure.
Not to mention, Josh Bell has never had a hitter like Juan Soto hitting in front of him,
No,
who might be one of the best. I mean, he's a top three hitter in baseball. There's no doubt about it. I don't care
yeah,
how young he is. The
dude, he's
dude,
top three in fucking swag in the league too, dude.
yeah,
He actually is.
yeah. there, I know Mike Trout gets like best player in baseball, but Soto might be too. Especially maybe
Yeah,
not on the defensive end, but at the plate, I don't know if there's another player that has the threat of power, the threat of hitting for average anywhere on the field, and has an eye. The dude does not strike out.
no.
It's it's incredible to see all three of those phases in a kid who's this young.
Yep, dude. What he had 41 walks last year and 28 strikeouts.
Yeah,
Again, short season, but still, that's
for a
anytime you have
20
more
year
walks.
old dude.
Yeah, like that. He's only gonna get better. This dude, he's definitely he's quickly turned into one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah,
It's got he's just nasty.
especially in the World Series too, when he takes a pitch and he slides out and he stares down the. Oh, it was like,
Oh,
all right, let's get it.
I
It
said
was
it, that swag. That swag he got is like this kid's like, whew,
that was one of the best moments of that World Series when it was him versus Greinke, and Greinke's like, I'm not taking any of this shit, young kid. Like, and Greinke was just threw it inside and then threw that ephus at 60 miles an hour and stared him. It was like, this is fucking baseball right here.
that that
It
was
was
great.
great. It's just mind tricks back and forth, dude.
You have a solid, crafty veteran like Granke who's been around forever and he's still a beast. Versus this new up and coming kid, and just see the swag facing the old crafty veteran like that.
Yeah,
It was like it was a great
it
moment
was
to watch.
great.
I did enjoy that. It was
Yeah,
great.
great. Soto, even with the COVID early in the season, and all the false negatives, all the false negative tests that kept him out, he still finished fifth in the MVP voting, and he finished with a batting average of 351.
Yeah,
Dude can hit.
yeah,
Dude can
that
hit.
is for sure.
Um, and I mean, not to mention, Bell's never had a hitter like that before him. I don't know if Bell's ever had a hit him like Sterling Castro behind him. I mean, Castro brings some pop. He's not the greatest hitter, but he is a threat. So there is some protection for Bell. I think he can bounce back next year. And
Yeah,
really,
that
that lineup is scary.
it is. I do expect kind of a bounce back from Bell because yeah, getting slotted into this lineup, it's gonna be
Yeah.
nasty.
And then
I mean, we didn't. I mean,
shout out Jan Gomes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we didn't
Jan
even
Gomes.
we didn't even talk about Trey Turner, who finished like seventh in the MVP voting.
Yeah, that guy's a monster. Leading off that speed he's got is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, and his defense is solid. It's just yeah. The Nationals team is just good. This whole division.
Yeah,
Keep going over these.
we're gonna say it a million times. This division's good.
Yeah,
All right, top two. These teams are probably as even as you'll get at the top of a division, in my opinion. But who do you think's coming in second?
I'll let you go first on this one since I did.
All
I
right.
know we agreed on the last two, but who do you? Because again, I'm still kind of making up my mind as we're sitting here talking about it. Like it's tough. It's really tough.
I know it's tough. I got the Mets coming in second.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
Right now, how I have them on my spreadsheet here in the tabs, I have Braves first and Mets, but it's good. It'll come down to the wire, I think, between these two.
yeah. Obviously, I know we talked before the podcast. The Mets offense last year was just as good as the Dodgers offense, which is crazy to
Yeah,
think about.
that's
Um,
what I was like. I knew they had a good offense, but as good as the Dodgers, it was like that was opening a little bit where it's like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
And they only added Lindor and Carrasco to that rotation.
Yeah.
Breaks my fucking heart, but
Yeah, it sucks. Um, it sucks, especially I think Lindor is gonna have a fucking. This is gonna pay me to say I think Lindor's got a real shot at winning MVP this year. Just the way he's talked in interviews already, saying like in the weight room last year he kind of slacked off and it could tell in his play, and he kind of was tired and lazy at the end of last season.
I mean, yeah, we've seen it too as Indians fans.
Yeah,
You could tell something was kind of off. Like it was like he was almost distracted too, just like by whatever was going on.
yeah. Not to mention he's trying to get a contract. I think that you could see like the Lindor, if you would have done the progression that we thought we should have seen last year, I think you could see him this year and even better going on in the season. There's nothing really to talk about. He's a 5-tool player. The fucking kid does everything great.
He does, and it's bringing up just painful memories.
It sucks.
You say that too. It's like this is going to be that MVP season where it's like not that he was ever not bad here in Cleveland, but just we. I know deep down all of us wanted that MVP season from Lindor at least once while he was here, and yeah, if he does get it, I'll be happy for him because he's still going to be one of my favorite players. But it'll be bittersweet.
Yeah, I mean we got that platinum glove season out of him, but
yeah.
Anyway,
Mets fans are getting lucky with that dude.
Yeah,
he made watching shortstop just so much fun.
Yeah,
just watching it's so much fun.
I agree. Here's what's interesting. I want to see what lineup they kind of go with for their season. I know they had Conforto leading off sometimes, and obviously at the Indians we know we had Lindor leading off most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lindor fits that bill, but I would personally love to see Conforto lead off this lineup, and then Lindor hit second, and then the Polar Bear hit third.
That wouldn't be a bad 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I know Jose Ramirez is a goat. Lindor's never had a scare of a power hitter hitting behind him like Pete Alonso bring.
No. That's another guy too. I think will bounce back. He had kind of a down season.
Yeah.
But I think Alonso over a longer stretch of a season, I think he'll bounce back too. And yeah, bring that. The dude still cranked out 16 homers last year. Which still is solid,
he's a pure power hitter. I mean,
yeah,
he's a good hitter overall, but I mean, the guy just brings pure power. It's just raw power.
Yep.
Not to mention, I mean, Jeff McNeil, he was solid too. That guy, I mean, he came up and just helped out immediately and just, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really solid hope. I mean, if he builds off of it, who knows? This team could be scary. And like we mentioned before, they got Carlos Carrasco. Obviously, they have Jacob deGrom, who I am not scared to say is the best pitcher in baseball.
I know we were talking in the last week or so, and you brought it up, and it's like I can't really make an argument against that.
No, you can't.
I don't even want to put the time into making an argument against it because DeGrom really is he's got to be the best pitcher right now.
He's been doing it for years. He did it with long hair. He's doing it with short hair. It doesn't matter. Yep. The guy is a fucking stud. He'll throw 100. He'll throw a 90-mile-an-hour slider by you. I mean,
yep.
I mean, he's got it all. I think Carrasco will probably slide in as their number 2. Then they got my boy Marcus Stroman, Mr. Swag himself.
Yep, that's the only other one that'd be like giving Soto, I think, a run for his money in the swag department. Stroman rolls. So
yeah, I've personally always loved Marcus Stroman. I wanted the Indians to go after him because with the Indians, when I wanted him, he would have been our number 5.
Yeah, that would have been just.
It would have been great. I think Stroman's great. I think his tactics when he pauses pitches, he holds, he changes the timing of the hitters so well.
He reminds me a lot of Johnny Cueto back in the day when Cueto was like at the top of his game with the Reds.
Yeah,
Cueto would do that stuff a lot where he'd come around, he'd hold it and then pitch it. Sometimes he'd do a faster pitch, and I like the pitchers that do that because it is. I know batters will complain and whatnot about it, but it's like you just gotta adapt.
Yep.
Adapt to it. It's nice giving that little bit of a hiccup. It gives batters something to pay attention to.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I didn't look into it. I probably should have. Do you know if Thor is going to be coming back this year?
I don't know. Honestly, when I was getting everything together too, I honestly overlooked Noah Syndergaard. I'm not gonna lie. It's and I'll tell you, I'll look at right now.
I
Let's
mean,
see
he's
what
been
we.
hurt. Fuck, it feels like every year for the past
That's
four
that's what's been
years.
disappointing about that guy too. Is like when they were gonna have Degrom and him as their two headed monster.
Yeah,
It exciting, and then yeah, Thor he just would get hurt all the time. And let's see if we can find an update real quick.
I know he just recently got into it with Trevor Bauer on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Bauster.
Looks like they placed him on the 60-day DL. This was
60
as
day.
of yesterday.
Okay.
They had to do it to get a spot for Taiwan Walker.
Oh yeah, they did just sign Taiwan Walker, which is we talked about the Indians going after him.
That's another guy that he's not a dominant pitcher, but as a towards the end of your rotation type pitcher,
Yeah,
that's a solid pickup.
yeah,
That'll
and
be a solid
he
pickup.
had some flashes in Arizona. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the kid has some stuff. He just some injuries and not really having a chance to put it all together.
It says here that Sandy Alderson, I believe that's the GM for the Mets,
Yep,
right?
yep.
He's targeted a June return for Syndergaard.
June. Okay.
Yeah.
So if he comes
So
back and has anything like he has been in his career, it's very solid number 4.
it'll almost be like they made a trade.
Yeah,
Like if they're really rolling good right there and Syndergaard comes back, it would almost be like they made a trade for a solid pitcher to just come and slot right in there.
yeah, that's a
That,
great point.
that's
Which you might see them relax a little bit at the trade deadline because of that. You know.
yeah.
Um, and then I mean, obviously, there's only one team left that we think is going to win this, and that's the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
These guys, I I have a really good buddy. He's a Braves fan. I told him all last year that this team would win the World Series if they had pitching. Well, that's exactly what they addressed this offseason. um, I'm not gonna spoil anything for. I know we're gonna do like full season predictions, but I think these guys are good enough to win the World Series.
I'll tell you what, I will definitely give their offense that for sure. And pitching, I could agree with that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think they definitely got the firepower, full on team depth enough too, where they could definitely win the World Series. I'd put them up there as a possibility for sure.
it
Contenders.
especially if Soroka comes back and pitches like he did at the end of last
Yeah.
year. That kid, I mean, he took some fucking leaps, man. After Fried got hurt, I literally told Sean, I was like, I just don't see this team making it very far without the pitching. And that Ian Anderson, I think his name was,
Hmm.
he stepped up huge down the stretch, man, and in the playoffs had some really nice pitching performances.
Yeah. And
Um,
I mean, them signing Charlie Morton is going to help so much in that department. A veteran who's been solid the last 5 years or so. I
yeah,
feel like I knew the dude was pitching for a while, but like I feel like he just kind of broke out with the Astros and just kind of was just a whole new pitcher almost so dominant. And then he carried that over with the Rays, and now
yeah,
I think that's going to be a huge boost for sure in that rotation.
yeah.
I would imagine he'll be anchoring as their ace, right?
Him or Fried. I mean, they might give Fried just because he's been there a while. I know Fried hasn't been like a dominant ace, but
And he's still young too, right? I mean,
yeah,
there's like
he's
yeah,
got some stuff, dude.
he does. Yeah, I know him
Um,
and Jack were their two young pitchers coming up. Whereas like yeah, these guys got some nasty stuff.
yeah. Um, so yeah, if Charlie Morton, I think, is a great signing for this team. I texted Sean that, and same with Smiley, man. I think that's a perfect signing for them. Get that back end of the rotation guy who's going to eat up innings and just be solid. Like we said, with this lineup, you don't have to go fucking pitch a shutout. You can give
No,
up 3 or 4 runs and still win the game 7-4. You know?
yeah, with this offense, this
Yeah.
offense is nasty.
Um, I think their rotation is actually good enough to make a deep run. They're deep. They got the Kyle Wright is like their number 6 long reliever guy. So we'll see. I mean, I think their pitching is it's vastly improved. There's no
Yeah,
question about that. Vastly improved.
for sure.
Um, I mean, I don't really know where to start with the lineup. Do you start with the MVP?
Yeah, you got to. Freddie, this dude's a monster. Like,
Year in and year out, dude.
yeah, year in and year
I
out, the
am
guy's just
so glad he won the MVP. I feel like every year he's forgotten. We talk about him every year for fantasy. When people
yep,
target these big name, like I remember when Pete Alonso had his 50 home run season, and everybody was like, "Oh, Pete Alonso is the first baseman to get in fantasy." Nope, it's Freddie Freeman. It's Freddie Freeman.
that's I feel the same way because it's like, yeah, Freeman's just so consistently good.
Yeah,
Like, it's just I'm gonna take that every time.
exactly.
Freeman's just he's a monster.
He's a,
He's always been one of my favorite players.
dude. The guy, like, I swear to God, could sleep for a month, wake up, pick up a bat, and hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball with ease. Like,
Yeah.
the dude is a pure hitter. He's a underrated defensive first baseman
Yep.
and a great leader. I mean, the guy has been there forever. And
When I the Braves, that's like the first face that always pops into mind is Freeman.
always,
The guy's been there forever doing it.
yeah.
Year in, year out.
Even with the young fucking studs that they have, Freddie Freeman, it's still his team. I don't care
Yeah.
how much Ronald Acuna Jr. gets talked about. This is still Freddie Freeman's freaking team.
Yeah.
And his son Charlie's cute as hell. But obviously, the guy I just mentioned, Ronald Acuna Jr., just getting better. I know he had some shaky patches last year, but the dude, it's just the young talent coming in this league is just unbelievable right now.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. That everybody can hit. It seems like that used to be the thing. Like, oh, they're great defensive players. I mean, we heard it with Lindor. He's got the glove. He's got to work on the bat. He came up day one. He was hitting.
Yeah, he was. He really was.
It's incredible. This team's got Marcelo Ozuna. They re-signed this year. He was He was a finalist for MVP. I think he finished like third or fourth, something like that. Darno, solid catcher. They signed that other kid too. He's not a kid. He's a grown ass man. He played for him last year.
Who you
Their
thinking?
backup catcher.
Um,
Kim or something. Start with a K. I can't remember it. I think he's Japanese or something.
Was it the Kurt Suzuki,
Was it Kurt Suzuki?
the old Twins catcher?
Yeah. You're
Okay,
right.
yeah.
I knew there was a K in there.
That guy's solid. I mean, he hasn't always had a solid bat, but it does pop up every now and then where it's like it's a pretty solid bat.
He got on a heater at the end of last year. I know they rode him a lot back there behind the plate. Then they got Ozzy Albies. Ozzy Albies.
That guy, yeah,
He's
great.
great second baseman. Dansby Swanson, obviously, great glove. Solid bat that's starting to come around. Somehow he got an MVP vote last year. I don't know how. I was telling you, I think that's someone just throwing away their vote because these stupid ass baseball writers decided to do that. A la Ken Griffey Jr. not getting in the Hall of Fame as a unanimous MVP Hall of Famer.
Literally makes no sense, but
Yeah,
whatever.
the three guys that didn't vote for him should all be probably murdered, but just kidding.
Just kidding.
Anyways, Austin Riley, another young guy that had come up.
Yeah.
Dude can freaking mash the ball. Mash.
Yeah,
I mean, we've gone through seven of their 9 hitters, and one of those 9 is going to be a pitcher most of the time. So, this team is stacked.
They're going the regular rules for that no more universal DH, which I like. I like that both leagues kind of have their own set of rules to do things by.
I do too.
I always thought it was kind of cool because I just like the challenge of an American League team going into a National League park and your pitchers don't hit all the time, but it's in the spirit of the game of just competitiveness, just that fun nature. Like it's not something you do all the time. Just attack it,
And there's nothing better when a pitcher can rake, dude.
Yeah,
like Bumgarner and freaking Greinke can rake too.
One of my all-time top baseball memories is seeing Mad Bum just cranked 2 home runs.
2 homers in one game, dude.
It's insane. I'll never see that again.
That's the stuff of Jack Hanahan, dude. There's a name for you.
Old Jack Hanahan. Whew. It's
Didn't
a
he
long
have like
time.
3 homers on opening day once or something like that?
Dude, shit. You're talking like at
It was
least,
forever ago.
like that was back when I think Lou Marson was catching too. Dude, I think that was back when Lou Marson was catching. That's a long time
It
ago.
was a long time ago. I'm pretty sure he had like I think it was 2 homers on opening day because everyone was like, "Who is this Jack Hanahan?" But yeah, I digress. That totally off topic with the Indians talk there.
Can't help it.
But yeah, I truly think that the Braves could win it all this year. I don't know. I'm not saying they're my pick, but they're the National League team. I think everybody forgets. There's so much hype between the Dodgers and the Padres right now. Atlanta is just that model of consistency the last few years. They just didn't have the pitching. They finally went out and got the pitching, I think.
Yeah, I definitely put him, like I said, as a contender for World Series for sure.
Yeah.
I would absolutely put him up there. This team's nasty. The offense we just went through, there's just so much firepower there. And I think is going to be a good signing and I love Kipnis, but I think it's a solid signing for a utility guy. And, the last couple seasons in Cleveland, it was rough being a Kipnis fan. I got a lot of shit for it.
Yeah, you did.
But I always loved him. He was here forever. And honestly, his last season or so, his bat started coming around a bit. Once he shook off, because there was a lot of injuries with him that I think that really kind of it hurt his offense a lot, and he wasn't playing much. But when he started kind of getting healthy, his bat started coming back. It wasn't all-star levels like we've seen with Kipnis, but as a utility guy, as a bench player like that, that's going to be a good signing for sure.
I see Mike Aviles and Jason Kipnis.
Yeah, at this point in Kipnis' career, that's probably a perfect comparison. Because he started playing a little bit of outfield too, so it's like this dude he's almost like a super utility player, really. And if that bat is just anywhere near what we kind of seen in his last days in Cleveland, it's solid.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, obviously, I've given Kipnis his fair share of criticism throughout the years.
Yeah.
I will never doubt that 2016 when we made the playoff run, we wouldn't have been able to do it without him. And I will never doubt that guy's leadership in the clubhouse. I will never criticize that because you could see it radiated.
Yep.
But yeah, for some reason, me and Kipnis just never got along. But I'll give him credit when it's due, man. I mean, it just wasn't due a lot.
Yeah, I differ, but
yeah,
whatever.
Well, at least we disagree on something in this podcast because we agreed on everything else.
I feel it's funny too. I know we talked beforehand, and I was like, we do our base team, and then let's see where we stack the next couple teams. And I know, lo and behold, it is. We pretty much were like even on how we have these all placed here, which was not planned at all.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think the only one we really had planned was Marlins in fifth, and
I think anybody would agree with that, man.
Yeah,
unless there's some catastrophic injuries to some teams, I don't see the Marlins holding up.
No, not over full 162. That's going to be a tough stretch to really do anything to mount a playoff run like last year, and especially in this packed division.
Yeah,
this division is so good.
I could see them being one of those teams that's like early on, maybe halfway through the season, you're looking at them and they're in third, and you're like, holy hell! Like this team has got something, and I do think they have something building. But I think they'll be that team that kind of just falls back in the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's honestly, I kind of think like that second half is going to be telling in showing that depth that they don't quite have yet.
Yep.
And really, show the front office, like, okay, now we know where we need to make our improvements to kind of get this team still going in the right direction.
Yep, I agree. So, yeah, I guess that ends our breakdown of the NL East. With the Braves winning the division, you think they get 100 wins?
I'm gonna go with. Let's say they fall just short at 98 wins.
98. I say 101.
101.
Yep. I got like 5 teams cracking 100, and they're one of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think
early, but I think they'll just fall just short. At
I can
yeah.
see it. I mean, they got to play this division, so I can see it.
That's kind of why when you said it, to, I was like, but I was like, it's a lot of division games though, where it's like it's gonna be it's gonna be a bloody division.
Yeah,
Them battling the other four teams. It's gonna be.
it is. 100% is. Like I said, I think we'll see 4 teams above 500 though. I do, which is going to be tough for the Braves to get 100 wins if that's the case. But, anyways, yeah, that's our NL East. Next Wednesday, we'll be back. What are we doing? The Central?
Yeah, we'll finish up the National League. We'll do Central. Yeah, break it down and give our predictions where we think everybody's placing again. And I think maybe we should kind of do that like we just did there with what we think projected wins might be for each team.
I'm down with that.
We didn't really do that with the National League West, and I think we definitely do that a little bit. See where we're thinking, these teams will end up like that.
Yeah, I'm in with that 100%. I'll have some extreme bias next week as I enjoy the Cardinals. So,
They're a good team.
yeah.
They're a good team.
I'll be unbiased in my opinions, but I love Nolan Arenado and I love Paul Goldschmidt. So, and Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, it's solid.
Little preview right there. Plus Yachty. I mean, fucking A, dude.
It's a legend. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be a Yachty fan. The guy's a legend.
Best catcher of our generation.
I think so.
It'd be tough to argue against it.
Nobody else is coming to mind that can really hold
the bat, the glove. I mean, the dude's got it all.
The glove alone.
Yeah,
like, many gold gloves, like it's insane. The guy can call games like nobody's business. Like and then the bat he had for a while. It's like the guy's he's a legend. Honestly, I think he really might be the best catcher we've seen in our generation.
I agree. I will not disagree with that. I think the only reason he came back is the Nolan Arenado trade. But
it's got like.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, it has to be. I mean, the guy was thinking about retiring. Oh, we traded for Nolan Arenado. I'll come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, we'll get into a bigger breakdown of that next week. So I guess until then, hopefully everybody stays healthy in spring training. It's nice to see those videos on Twitter of the fucking ball hitting the glove and the bat, man. It's so nice.
Of that bat, the pop in the glove. Like, the next thing we need now is this stupid winter in Cleveland to go away and start smelling that fresh spring cut grass. Oh, yeah. Those 3 things are always my favorite of the spring: the grass, the bat, and that ball hitting that glove.
And John Fogerty, dude.
Hey, John Fogerty.
Put me in, coach.
John Fogerty.
All right. Well, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, like the Facebook page, join the freaking Discord. I'm telling you right now, anytime during the day, we are in there voice chatting. We got tons of fucking channels in there for you guys to talk about. We got a beat reporter in there for sports.
You got some baseball banter. We definitely go back and forth for sure. If you don't like some of our opinions, I mean, we definitely have no problem talking baseball.
Yeah, I got no problem shitting on anybody about baseball. But anyways, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Seriously, bring it.
Yeah. Do it. Bacardi and Cola, do it. All right. Well, I guess we will see you Friday. We have a WandaVision review, and we'll probably get into the announcement of the new Spider-Man movie. I was like, what should I call this? Title movie?
I thought you froze for a second.
My brain froze, dude. Yeah. I was like, Cartman. Great South Park episode, by the way. So yeah, we'll see you guys Friday. And until then, peace.
Yep. Take it easy.